Welcome everybody to our Nomasis webinar. My name is Nadine and I'm pleased to introduce to you Alexander, who will be presenting today. Today's webinar is about the proactive cybersecurity with Arctic Wolf. The session lasts about 45 minutes. Please notice that the webinar will be recorded and during the presentation your microphones will be set to mute. You may post questions during the session through the chat function to the host or unmute yourself at the end of the session. So now I'd already like to hand over to Alexander. You can start your presentation.
Thank you, Nadine. Okay, let's kick it off. A very warm welcome from my side. My name is Alex. I'm a senior sales engineer at Arctic Wolf, and today I would like to introduce you our service, our solutions. Before we start, I would like to show you your agenda for today. We are going to introduce us, Raphael and myself. Raphael is my sales colleague. Then we are heading over to the value of Arctic Wolf as well as the technical overview. Then we will have a short demo at the end and a wrap up. And during the wrap up phase, you also can ask your questions. Okay, I'm handing over to Raphael.
Hello, everybody. Raphael Pereira, Arctic Wolf Networks. I'm glad that you joined today to the session. I'm a so-called account executive at Arctic Wolf, covering a part of Switzerland. And been with the company only a short time, only 3 months, but I have 20 years of IT experience in Switzerland.
Thank you, Raphael. To add one additional information on the screen, you can see our V-cards. If you're interested, you can take a photo now, or otherwise, Nadine is going to send you the presentation afterwards, so you can scan it. Then we'll have your then you will have our V-card and our contact details. Okay, let's start with Arctic Wolf. As you might know, our mission is end cyber risk, and with this mission we have been extremely successful during the last 13 years. Arctic Wolf was founded in Canada in 2012, and since then we could grow our customer base dramatically. Nowadays we have 10,000 customers worldwide, which is a quite good number in my opinion for this short amount of time. And since 3 years, we are active in the EMEA region. That includes Europe and South Africa, as you can see on the screen. And especially in Switzerland, we have 65 to 70 customers right now, and they're extremely happy with us. We measure that with the NPS score, and our NPS score in the DACH region, that includes Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, is at astonishing 89%. So we are extremely good in that, and customers are loving us. I'm saying that really very proudly. Okay, let's head over to the value of Arctic Wolf. But before we start with this, I would like to highlight why cybersecurity is important. I'm sure that the majority of you is already aware of that, but I would like to, you know, to have a soft entry into this topic. First of all, we are all afraid of this guy, you know, the smart guy who is good in manipulating things, who knows the technology very, very well. This guy is maybe a little bit, he's not like us, like working every day. He's sitting in another time zone, and he is probably interested doing the following thing. He wants to extort money out of you. Of course, our mission is to avoid or to forbid this. We want to deny the access for those guys in your environment. Why is that important? I think this is also very common. We want to avoid the financial damage. So if your operations are stopping, you have a huge financial damage probably. In addition to that, your reputation is damaged as well. You can lose intellectual property, and the theft of customer data is also a really bad story. So at the end, this is the situation we want to avoid. And now you are asking who is in focus, or who is attacked by the threat actors nowadays. For this question, I brought you this slide. On this slide, you can see the attack pattern changing over time. As you can see here, in 2017, for example, there were attacks on bigger companies worldwide. For example, FedEx is well known, or Hitachi, Maersk, or Merck. So the attackers focused on big companies. And why? Of course, because the potential is really high to extort money. Those big enterprises, they had a lot of money, and attacking groups, they know this, and then they focus on the big customers they focus on the big companies to extort the money from them. But the problem was this strategy wasn't really successful. So the attack pattern is changing over time. In 2017, as I said, a lot of big companies were attacked, and then it changed during 2020, 2021, 2022, and the focus is more on the smaller customers right now. And why? I mean, it's clear more or less because smaller customers, they don't have the big budget to build up security strategies, SOC operations, etc. So they are much more vulnerable to attacking groups, and the success rate of the threat actors is even higher than before. So the message is that even small companies are really in the focus. And on Ransomware Live, which is a website I use sometimes to look who is attacked, you can really see that even smaller companies with like 5 to 10 employees, 20 employees are in the focus right now. Now I would like to show you a slide from our Arctic Wolf Red report of 2025. And what we see in our data is that 95 of our incident response cases is caused by 3 methods of attacks. First of all, the biggest percentage is ransomware and data extortion. What does it mean? Ransomware is software that gets employed, and the ransomware is going to encrypt the data locally. And the most of the customers, they have backups in place. And when they are encrypted, they can restore the data from the backup. And then they think, okay, we are clean again, and we don't have to pay the extortion money, and that's why threat actors started to use another strategy, which is called the double extortion. Threat actors are not only focusing on the encryption of your data, they also exfiltrate data from your environment. That means you can recover your data, but then they say, hey, look, we have your most important data in our hands, and we are going to release it in the dark web. And this is, of course, a thing we want to avoid. The second method used by attacking groups is the business email compromise. This is the typical email the employee gets, and then he or she clicks on a link, either hacked and the credentials are stolen, or the employees are forwarded to a website, and they are asked to put in their credentials. And last but not least, 24% are intrusions. And with this 4 attacking methods, we have the majority of our incident response cases. And now, what is the reason for this attacks? What is the vulnerability or the entry point for the attacking groups? And this is even more astonishing in my opinion, because 92% are external exposure. What does it mean? Attacking groups are using mainly SSH access, RDP access, or VPN access. A really common attacking group in Switzerland is Akira, and Akira is specialized on VPN access, for example. How the RDP, or how many RDP sessions are open in Switzerland right now. So this picture is from May 6, 2025. And I prepared the live view on this as well. This looks like this. So this is Showdown. This is a website which can be used by everybody. You have to pay a fee of like $40, and then you have a lifetime membership there. And here you can query the country as well as the port, for example. And I used the port 3389 to show all available RDP ports in Switzerland. And now we can take a closer look, and maybe I find an open port here. So for example, we have the Cilion AG in Zurich. They have the open RDP port as well as a Microsoft operating system with build 6.3 1.9600. So when you are an attacker, you can do the following thing. You can say, okay, look, this is the company I want to investigate. Now I can look for the revenue. Sometimes I can find something, not in this case, unfortunately, but it shall give you an impression what is capable with this tool. So you can search for the company, their operating system, the open port. You can find out revenue they are doing. You can find out how high the margin is of the revenue. So you have a really good entry point to gather information in this case. Coming back to the presentation, of course, you are here because you want to avoid this scenario, right? You want to avoid the guy who attacks you and to breach you, to get your information and your data. And therefore, we think a security operations center, which is called SOC in short, is really important. And for this, I wanted to show you a few numbers that are highlighting the importance of a SOC, especially in context with Arctic Wolf. First of all, I would like to start with the dwell time. The dwell time means the average time to identify an intrusion, and the average time is 206 days. At Arctic Wolf, the average time is only 23 minutes. It means we are extremely good in finding threat actors in the network. Then 40% of the threats that are detected are between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. So it means that attacking groups are attacking companies at night. Why? Because they're probably in other time zones, day at their time zone, then we have night at ours. And it is, well, the result of this message is that a 24/7 operation is extremely important to avoid attacks in the environment. Then we have 62% of customers had advanced threat activity being missed by security tools, but caught by Arctic Wolf. It means that we see a huge effectiveness gap at our customer base or at the prospects we would like to have as our customers. With our mission and cyber risk, we want to close this effectiveness gap. Then when you decide to onboard at Arctic Wolf, we also run a so-called credential discovery in the dark web. That means that we check your credentials in the internet and in the dark web area. We found out that over the half, so 54% of our customers already have exposed credentials in the internet or in the dark web. When we find this out, we are, of course, we give you the hint that you can stop or that you can change the password, the user, or delete the user. Together with our partner, in this case, Nomasis, we can also do a reduction in time to patch critical vulnerabilities. So when you have operating systems in older versions and we find out that this operating system with this version is vulnerable, then we will give you a hint and you can patch those systems together with your partner. And what is also important as part of the SOC is the user awareness. We see the user, or in my opinion at least, the user in front of the PC is the most critical let's say component in this sector. So when the user is trained very, very well, uncommon that a attack happens. Now we are going into the technical overview. Therefore, I would like to start with the IKT Minimalstandard in Switzerland, which is related to the NIST cybersecurity framework. And this framework, you already know it, I assume, has 5 main pillars: identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. And our service, of course, is aligned to this NIST framework. And today we want to dig into the SOC service, or as we call it, the MDR service, Managed Detection and Response. So Managed Detection and Response is our core service. This is our legacy because Arctic Wolf started actually as a network detection and response company, and then we grow over the time and we added further services and further functions to our service. And nowadays, Managed Detection and Response is really our core service where we're really strong in this area. In addition to that, we can also offer endpoint security solutions, which means an EDR or EPP solution. This part can be a part of Managed Detection and Response as the overall umbrella in your company. And we can additionally offer you a managed risk, which is an internal vulnerability scanning solution. And we have the managed security awareness programs that trains your employees. If you have a breach, you also can call us. So I call it the red telephone. If anything happens at your environment, you can pick up the red telephone, call us, and we will help you to negotiate with the attacking groups and to decrease the amount or the extortion that is required by the attacking groups. And as I said, today we are focusing on the managed detection and response part. This part is also aligned at the NIST cybersecurity framework, as you have seen before. But to be more precise, it is a reactive part. So what we do is we monitor the environment, we collect data, and then we analyze the data, and we can see, okay, is there anything in your environment, yes or no? And this approach makes it to a reactive part. And with this, we can cover the pattern detect, respond, and recover within the NIST cybersecurity framework. How we do it is rather simple, in my opinion. We talk about a so-called attack surface, and the attack surface has several endpoints. For example, an endpoint can be a typical desktop or laptop PC in your environment, or even a VM. Everything with an operating system is an endpoint, because we install an agent onto the endpoint, and the agent looks for the activity logs on the end device and pushes the data, the telemetry data, into our platform. In addition to that, we also monitor the network. As I mentioned before, Arctic Wolf's legacy is actually the NDR part. That means between the network stack and the firewall, we will place a so-called sensor, and this sensor is monitoring the north-south traffic in your environment. So every data piece which goes over your firewall is tracked and analyzed via our sensor. Then we have APIs into cloud environments, for example, AWS, Azure, and GCP. And I assume every one of you in the call has Microsoft Office 365 licenses. That means we can also collect data from the Microsoft Graph API. And with this data, we can also enhance our analyzation capabilities. We also can connect with identity provider solutions like Cisco Duo or Okta, or even Microsoft Active Directory. And through the identity provider, we can also do response actions. So if there's malicious activity in your environment, we can automatically start a host isolation. We can reset passwords, or we can shut down users with this. And last but not least, we are also able to use syslog as a further data source. And with this, we can feed our platform with data, with telemetry data from several data sources. And the Aurora platform is analyzing the data with a so-called alpha AI. This is an AI algorithm that is, let's say, really huge. We handle over 8 trillion events per week worldwide. So this platform is really massive. And the data which is analyzed by the AI platform is then pushed to the so-called triage team. So you can imagine a big data platform also delivers a lot of alerts. And we are interested just to give you the really important alerts. We want to avoid false positive entries or calls for you, and that's why we have the triage team. The triage team is the human component that filters all the false positive elements in this environment. And last but not least, on top of this, we have our concierge delivery model. With this, we are really we are the unique on the market because the concierge delivery model, they take you on your hand. You know, they want to go with you on a security journey. They want to improve your security posture, and we do this with spider workshops. We come to that later again. How do we ingest the data? As I mentioned before, we collect telemetry data or metadata. And this data is ingested into our platform, and then the data is parsed. Parsing means that we bring the data into the same format, that we can analyze the data with our AI algorithm. And then we can enrich the data with further data. That means we can enrich the data with timestamps, for example, or geolocations. And after that, the AI analysis does the work and generates alerts, and the alerts are filtered by the triage team, of course, and just true positive alerts are reflected in the customer portal. If you have a true positive alert, we also do the automated response action. Last but not least, we have the concierge team. That is the team that takes you on the security journey, of course, and you can evaluate all the vulnerabilities and all the alerts you had in for example, monthly meetings. So this is really your team dedicated to you, and they provide you with the most important information to run your environment properly. What you can see here is our Arctic Wolf dashboard. This is the main entry point in our platform. The dashboard is built to give you a crisp impression of what is going on your platform. For example, you can see the observation pipeline. You can see in this case, we analyze 1.8 million events, and with our AI and with the triage team, just one alert is issued. That is the information you can read out of this chart. You can also see your tickets. You can see your logins if there are suspicious, for example. And we also have the scoring model. In this case, it is red, unfortunately. But maybe I can choose another, for example, NIST 2.0. Then we have a higher index. It is just a demo environment, and just shall give you an impression of what we are doing here. And the majority of our customers are interested in what data is stored. And that's the reason why I would like to show you the Data Explorer, the raw log search. So all raw logs are collected here, and you can see what is collected with our platform. Maybe we can find something. For example, today we have a log from an agent. You can also click on the details. You can see the log in its raw format. It looks like this. For me, it's hard to read, to be honest. My favorite view is the table, and then I can see, okay, the Arctic Wolf agent generated this log. The host name is desktop 4. The host interface name is Ethernet 0, for example. We can see the IP address. We can see the operating system, and then we have a description of the alert or of the event that happened, just to give an impression. We also can go over to the incident response. Raphael, I think he said that we also create response plans for you. You can find it also in this dashboard. And if you're interested in managed risk, you can go to the legacy managed risk dashboard, and you can do a deep dive risk analysis. Maybe this is too much for today, but we can talk about it in further sessions. Is there anything else you are interested to see, or do you have any questions? Because we are now at the wrap up part. So the wrap up is further easy because I summarized anything you get from Arctic Wolf when you decide to be a customer of us. And to make it short, you will receive a team of professionals, of SOC professionals that are working for you 24/7. You will receive a fully managed OpenXDR SIEM with a response functionality that includes an ELK stack as backbone. And you will have the threat intelligence and platform engineering team. Those are the guys who push the intelligence into our platform. This is also included. They do the detection or the threat hunting capabilities in our platform. As I mentioned before, we are vendor neutral. You can leave your IT infrastructure as it is, so there's no change needed to consume Arctic Wolf. And then you can have up to 10 years of log retention, everything. And maybe I missed one thing. You also have the concierge team with the spider meetings and the improvement of the security posture of your company. And everything is coming with a flat rate subscription. So if the subscription fee is defined, there's no change. And you can ingest data without limits. So it's a really good offering. Maybe Raphael, are you interested to add something to this slide?
Yeah, maybe just in regards to the vendor neutrality, what it means. If you have Microsoft Defender, or you have Sophos, or you have Checkpoint, if you have a Palo Alto firewall, if you have a FortiGate firewall, we don't care. We can connect to them and collect all the logs. So for you also, in case in the future, once you want to change something from your EDR or firewall solutions, no problem for us. We can collect them. Important again, the flat rate subscription, whatever, how many, it doesn't matter how many data you ingest, because many SIEM solutions, the more data you ingest, the more expensive it is. We have just recently talked with a customer that they started to build their own SOC team. It just, the cost started to explode once they realized how much data they started to ingest, and they had to stop it. And now they discuss with us, of course, because we do that for a fairly attractive price. What it also means, it doesn't matter how many tickets you open with your concierge people, how many questions you have to them. Doesn't matter at all. There is one fee, and that is usually minimum subscription is for a year, and then we can do 3-year or 5-year subscriptions, contracts with us. It only matters what you choose. We believe that we are really a leader in this environment. We are actually by far the largest SOC, commercial SOC for customers. And in terms of economies of scales, we have a view of so many data, that very advanced technology, and we recognize new trends very early stage. For example, we have a threat that we just realized in Sydney. We already update our books, the way we analyze our data, and we add that right away into it, and we can immediately alert customers in Switzerland, or other parts in the world, when there is a new threat vector being tried out by hackers. So that is very advanced. I also believe from a price point of view, it's very attractive. So please feel free to reach out to us. It takes you probably 1 hour to get an overview again over all our solutions, including a pricing, and then you can right away decide if this is something you want to further investigate or not. That's all I have to add.
Thank you, Raphael. So let's switch over to our last slide. We make security work. Thank you for attending the session.